So, welcome to the interview. My name's Panda. This is
BigPoppaDrock.
BigPoppaDrock. And what is the alias most people refer to you as? Drock?
Drock.
Papa?
Drock or
Daddy?
Papa. Some people call me Papa. Some people call me Drock. I'd say Drock would be the alias that I would choose.
Yeah, no, so for those of you guys who didn't know, Drock is a voice actor. That is would that be your full-time job? Do you just kind of get random pickup gigs? Like, what does that look like for you?
Actually, I'm an on-camera actor, on-camera and voiceover. So I do both television shows on camera as well as voiceover work, mostly in commercials. Except I was in Red Dead Redemption 2. Mm-hmm. That's motion capture and voice work.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they actually do motion capture on you.
What was your character's name in Red Dead?
I had a bunch of small characters, actually. So I played cowboys that are screaming at Arthur and threatening to kill him and riding horses. And I played townsfolk and stuff who are welcoming me home, getting shot from the left. Right here. They're pushing in.
Cracked one. One guy's one shot.
In truck.
You said you've been in Red Dead. You've been in a handful of commercials. What is like the biggest, I guess, commercial game that you have been a part of, or like the biggest role that you've played as an on-camera actor?
Well, I played a lot of small roles in like Law and Order SVU, Quantico, like a bunch of shows like that. If you're familiar with any of that stuff.
I have not heard of any of those shows, but I'm sure there are many that do watch them.
You've never heard of Law and Order SVU?
Oh man.
Law and Order Special Victims Unit?
No, I have not heard of those.
What? Are you fucking with me right now?
No, I don't. Listen, I don't watch TV all that much. I never had cable growing up.
No fucking way.
Yeah, my entire life was spent either watching PBS Kids or Netflix eventually.
Oh, wow. Law and Order, that's definitely like
I heard of Law and Order, but I've never seen it.
Yeah. So I had a small role in that. I had a role on Quantico. I had a role on some Netflix shows. The Deuce on HBO. But like a bunch of like small roles on lots of different stuff. I've done Corona beer commercials for the NFL, for Comcast. Basically your prototypical working actor. You know, like I've actually made money acting. And I've been a professional actor now for over 10 years.
Yeah.
The pandemic has certainly changed a lot of things for me, without a doubt, because it's actually what drove me to start doing Twitch, because it's not really going on the way that it used to before the pandemic, at least yet. And I moved out to Los Angeles right as the pandemic was starting. So my agent and manager are all in New York, which makes it kind of tough because,
oh man, yeah, I could imagine.
You know, I needed to get new people to rep me, but I can't really do that in a pandemic where you don't have enough jobs for the clients that you have currently if you're an agent, you know? So it's been a weird year and a half. Like it's all worked out because Twitch has been so phenomenal. But definitely when everything was starting, I was kind of like, what the hell am I going to do?
Yeah, I can imagine. That's got to be a pretty scary, you know, just giant to face with moving out there and then having everything go shut down. And it's like, where do you go as someone that needs to be around people to be getting gigs?
Yeah. Well, I was sleeping on my buddy's couch when I moved out here initially because we were supposed to get a place together. You know, I was going to get a job and obviously I couldn't do that. And I was like, all right, well, I can't do any on-camera acting or any commercials right now because everything's kind of shut down. So
yeah,
like you said, it's been a weird year, but it's all kind of weirdly enough worked out for the best. So can't really complain.
Ooh, Bertha, good move.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get out of here and get you back.
Okay, so let's take things back a handful of years. How old were you when you first developed an interest for acting in general and voice acting, whatever it may be? What was kind of the process at which point where you're like, this is what I'm interested in and this is what I want to do?
So, I mean, I've loved acting and entertaining people since I was a kid. I mean, I did all the school musicals and high school musicals and stuff like that, and all of that kind of stuff when I was, they just rest here. I need to get out of here. You know, when I was growing up. So all of that was stuff that I have done, honestly, since childhood. But it really wasn't until high school that I decided that I wanted to, what the fuck? That I decided that I wanted to actually go and try to make it professional. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just a very different world when you're doing it like as an amateur versus as a professional. So I actually went to New York University, Tisch School of the Arts, and went to acting school to to, you know, essentially become an actor. So really it was high school where things changed. I did a Shakespeare play, Much Ado About Nothing, and that was what convinced me that that was what I wanted to pursue and what I wanted to do for my career.
Gotcha. So you said you went to schooling for acting then. What was that like right out of high school? You went into that for college, or
yeah, right out of high school. So I auditioned for a bunch of different schools and got into NYU. And
is that one a pretty well respected one?
It's definitely a big one. I'm personally not a fan of NYU for a bunch of different reasons for undergrad, but yes, it's a very well known, very well respected institution. If you were to tell someone, they'd be like, "Wow, NYU! Oh my God! Wow, so impressive!"
Yeah.
I think, you know, the funny thing about acting school is there's really only 2 or 3 that actually make, in my opinion, a massive impact in your career, and that's Juilliard or Carnegie Mellon if you sing. There's a couple other ones, but NYU was kind of a shit show. Like, looking back on it, I'm glad I went because I made a lot of friends, but at the same time, it didn't really do much to help me.
Yeah, that would make sense. I definitely know a lot of people get out of these art kind of schools and whatnot, and they don't necessarily feel like they left with the proper education, but like, you know, obviously they got like a good social experience with it.
The thing is, well, I mean, I would have gone to Florida, frankly. I would have gone for football because I love sports.
Oh, cool.
But the reality is that, you know, acting is a business, and people often forget, you know, the one thing I've learned doing it and, you know, doing it professionally is that talent is probably 5% of whether or not you end up, you know, being successful as an actor. It's the smallest piece of the pie. 95% is who you know, what your background is, what are your connections, timing, shit that you can't necessarily control.
Yeah.
Like I'm lucky and thankful that I've worked as an actor, that I gotten paid to do it, you know, that I'm a union member, etc. There are many people that I went to school with and never did a day of acting in my life. Then there are people I went to school with who became celebrities, you know, who got extremely, extremely lucky. So you just, you know, it's one of those things you have to really enjoy doing because it's super, super difficult career.
Yeah, I could imagine that it's a very competitive scene to be in, and I mean, I do freelance video work, and with that too, it's the same thing. Like, it's a lot more about who you know than it is like what you know, and
for sure,
contacts and connections make you infinitely more successful, or give you way more opportunity to be successful, even if you're like the most talented person.
Team in Orange, I think I saw someone there. Maybe I'm crazy. I could have sworn that I did.
What was your first gig that you ever did?
I did a commercial for, I think it was DirecTV for ESPN Game Plan, I believe. And I did a voiceover for World of Warcraft and what was the last one? Like a voiceover for Davidoff Champion Cologne. Those were my first 3 professional paying gigs.
Now, do you remember any of the lines from those gigs?
Davidoff Champion, the new fragrance for men. Oh yeah.
Oh dude, I'm sold. I'm buying it right now, real quick.
Yeah, Davidoff Champion, baby. Shit hits different. Buy it. Buy it, kids. The World of Warcraft one was hilarious because I auditioned for the lead with a Brooklyn accent. I have a terrible, terrible New York accent, so I don't know why the fuck they even like hired me.
Aren't you? You said you used to go to New York, or no? You went to school in New York.
Yeah, I lived in New York for 14 years. Yeah, I'm originally from Florida, but lived in New York for 14 years, and then live in LA now. But yeah, it was so funny. So they hired me to be like this gnome character who has a really high voice, which is completely different from what I actually did for the audition.
Yeah.
And they also wanted a New York accent. I'm like, why the fuck did you guys hire me? Like, what? Like, this is my first job. I'm gonna suck ass doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you want another Lodi? What do you want?
Yeah, we can get another UAV.
Okay, works for me.
Maybe just buy 2 more, and I'll grab the other one.
And so they ended up like, I knew they were gonna replace me before the game came out, and sure enough, they did. I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm making the final cut of this game. So I would have been in World of Warcraft Burning Crusade, I think it was, but
dang,
I knew they were gonna replace me. My character's name was Fergus Kirchum until they replaced me. I actually went into the game and found the character just to make sure. I was like, I'm pretty sure they replaced me, but let's just confirm. And they did. Yeah, they did.
Can't confirm. I have been replaced.
Listen, man, if there's one thing with acting, you will get replaced. I don't care who you are. You will get replaced. Somebody will replace you. You'll get fired from a job, not because you did anything bad or whatever. Like, that is the nature of the beast. I've had so many close calls with so many huge jobs. It's insane.
Oh. Here's an extra satchel here.
I believed in you, so
baby.
I didn't stop rezzing there.
Yeah, we're popping it advanced. Oh, look at that guy. He's peeking right over the ledge. I'm about to pop him in the head.
Do it.
Dead.
Oh my lord, you called it, son. You called
Oh
it.
yes, I call my shots.
Called a shot. He's Babe Ruth.
I'm waiting for the spectator to pop up on my screen. Okay, so what's the funniest gig that you've ever done or been offered and turned down? What is the funniest one?
Definitely a Netflix TV show I did with Michelle Wolf, where I played an ICE agent, like an immigration agent. It was a parody of the immigration ICE, and it was one. I mean, you can actually watch the sketch. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's such a funny sketch. It's very political, so obviously, you know, it depends on people's politics and their beliefs. But
Sure.
yeah, it was fucking so funny.
Is that on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. It's on YouTube. Yeah.
What's it called?
The second I went in for the audition, it's called The Break with Michelle Wolf, and you can literally put in the ISIS sketch, like ISIS.
Yeah.
Because it's making fun of ICE, as in like ICE is like ISIS.
Yeah.
And oh, dude, I went in for the audition. I knew right away. This never happens. I was like, I'm booking this one.
Oh, really?
In this one, yeah. Sometimes you're just so right for something that you know you're gonna get it. It's very, very rare where that happens. But I knew the second I walked in the room, I just felt it in my bones. And yeah, I booked it. It's very hard to book a job, so I was stoked as fuck. And it was one of the best. And you, again, like talking about acting being a lot of luck, part talent, a lot of luck. The writers and the directors and the entire like cast loved me.
Yeah.
Thought I was fucking hilarious.
Oh, that's
Talked
a good
about
feeling.
putting me in another episode, and then the show got canceled like 2 episodes later.
No way.
That is the story of my acting career, man. I've had so many big, like, so close to getting a huge big break.
Yeah.
And then it, like, for whatever reason, just falls apart.
Dang.
Yeah, that one hurt though. That one hurt.
So, little side question within.
I one in there.
Ooh, nice.
This top, that angle, I'm pushing in. He's right up top, like tall floor. I'm deadying.
They just got revive off.
Yeah. Didn't stun anyone. Got nobody.
Dead.
Nice. Oh, it's another one in the corner.
Yep, dead.
Nice. Good. Great flank.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Okay, so what? I guess in terms of like, you know, like you said, you've had a lot of opportunities to maybe have your big break. What would it look? What do you like to? Where would you like to see yourself in 5 years? Like, what would you be doing? Or do you still plan on? I guess where does Twitch also lie within your life as of now? Within like, if things were to take off with TV shows, you got super busy. Where like, how would you work in Twitch to that? Would you still be trying to do that? Thoughts on that?
I think so. I've really enjoyed my experience with Twitch. I've been very fortunate, and I've met some amazing people, and I feel like I've built a community, even though it's small, that is, very vocal and very generous and just good people and kind. So I feel like I'll be a Twitch streamer until I can't be anymore. You know, until nobody wants to show up.
Yeah.
So my immediate the other thing I really like about Twitch too is that at the end of the day, it's kind of, you know, you're either entertaining and watchable and someone that people want to watch, or you're not. And the beauty of it is that if you can be entertaining, if you can be somebody that is able to connect with an audience, you don't have to wait for a casting director to decide they want to put your tape in front of the director or the producer. You don't have to be connected to anyone. You don't have to be somebody's dad, you know, son, or somebody's, you know, wealthy son, or go to a certain school. You can be just yourself.
Yeah.
And if people respond to that, then you can actually have a fulfilling and wonderful, you know, just kind of magical career doing that. Whereas with acting, there's so many things that have to come into play that you cannot control.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't control some aspects of Twitch, right? Like, you know, you change up your stream, you try to make things more interesting, make things funnier, make them better, whatever. Can't control if people are going to watch. You can only control what you do, but I feel like you have just a lot less. There's no middleman in Twitch. You know, Twitch, people either watch you or they don't.
It's true.
So I really love that aspect of it. I'll always act. I'll always be excited about it. It'll always be something I pursue. But I'm very, very much full in on Twitch at this point, and really thankful that the pandemic happened in that way, because it gave me an opportunity to do Twitch.
Yeah. So do you like, where would you do you see yourself wanting to continue to pursue acting just as
Definitely.
much in the next 5 years? Like, where would you like to be with acting, streaming involved together?
For sure, I'd love to keep doing acting. You know what I mean? I think it's one of those things where my focus in the immediate moment is more on Twitch, but I would love to get to a place where, I'm a series regular on a TV show.
Yeah.
And like that's something that's happened for me. But again, like right now, Twitch is the thing that is working. Twitch is the thing where I'm having success.
Sure.
And I think that's the thing I need to focus on at the moment. So
100%.
goals with Twitch really is just continue to build a wonderful community and just hope that people show up and are entertained and enjoy the stream. We'll see what happens. We'll see where it goes.
So if you could give any piece of advice to a younger generation, what would you tell them?
I think the biggest piece of advice I would give somebody is, truly live every day if it's your last, and make the most of every moment, because life is short, and it's one of those things where you never know how long you're going to be around. So build wonderful relationships with people, take advantage of every opportunity, because when you get older, it gets harder to do the things that you really want to do in life, whether it's sports or play an instrument or whatever else. The older you get, the harder it gets to do those things. It's not that it's not possible, it's just hard. So take advantage of every opportunity, and don't limit yourself just because you can't, you think you can't do something. And also do your best to try to follow your dreams, I think, because too many people have a dream and they don't even give it a chance. They don't even give it a shot. They're too afraid. Forget that. Like, go for what you want. If you fail, you fail. Like, fuck it. If you fail, you fail. That's life. You're going to fail at shit. I failed at a ton of shit. I'm going to continue to fail at shit. But if you don't ever try, then you never have a chance to even succeed. You know what I mean? And I think some of the most beautiful things in my life came out of moments where I was like, oh man, I don't think this is going to happen. But I did it anyway, and then it, it worked out. So that'd probably be my advice.
What are some things that are on your bucket list that you're still wanting to go for in life?
Well, I mean, definitely with the acting stuff, I'd like to get to a place where, I have I don't want to necessarily be a big famous person or anything like that, but I'd love to be a great character actor where people are like, oh yeah, that guy's fucking hilarious. Who's that guy? I've seen him in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Like there are people like that in so many different TV shows that you see them and you think they're hilarious, and you have no idea what their name is, so they still have some level of privacy, but you realize like, oh man, he's fucking funny.
Yeah.
So something like that would be great with acting. And then honestly, I have a lot of medical issues, so it'd be nice to get to a quality of life where I can actually kind of enjoy and do the things I used to do, because it's hard for me to be active. Because of all the medical things I've been through. So that would be one thing that I would love to happen, but that's a little out of my hands. So we'll see what happens with that. I think one of the things that I've learned about Twitch is so much of this is networking and getting to know other streamers and getting to know other communities. And it's kind of amazing how many people are in my community are members of other people's communities and vice versa. And so I love that aspect of it, because that's, I don't know, it feels like you really get to know the people that you kind of, for lack of a better word, I guess, work with, Yeah,
no, I would definitely agree with you on that. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you're on Twitch, you either have to be really good at social media outside of it, or you have to be a really good networker. And not everybody is like the social networker. A lot of these people are semi-introverted that are on Twitch, so it's not the easiest for them to just go meet new people, become friends with them, etc. And like, that's definitely one of my strong suits, is like, I'm very good at networking with people. Sure. And I love that.
That's been how my channel has grown, I think, as well, is through networking and less through social media or people seeing my TikToks. And the reality is that, I'd like to have more of that. I'd like to do more of that. But I'm glad at least that I can do one of the two, right?
Yeah. No, 100%. Well, thank you for doing the interview. I do appreciate it, and it was definitely cool to get to know a little bit.
Questions, bro.
The insider life of a on-screen camera actor, and just kind of a little bit of the journey that you've been through throughout the years of pursuing that.
So it's a crazy thing.
So yeah, I have someone asking if they can do a little bit of, if they can ask some questions from chat and via me.
That's
so
for everyone. Yeah, 100%.
Someone said, where did you start when you were getting into acting? Well, I guess, yeah, where did you start when you're getting into acting?
Well, I'll tell you, after I graduated acting school, I didn't know what the hell to do. I didn't have an agent. I was like, what the f do I do? And that's actually the scariest time of being an actor is if you go to an acting school, you graduate and you're just thinking, what the f do I do, man? Like, I know nobody. I'm not wealthy. I don't have support. I'm all completely on my own. How do I make this work? And so what I did was same kind of thing with Twitch. I started networking. So I did an internship at an agency, and at the same time, I had really bad acne, and I knew it was going to be hard for me to be on camera at that time. Nowadays, people don't care as much about it, but like 15 years ago, having acne kind of really sucked.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I need to learn voice acting. Like, we'd done a little bit of it in college, but I thought I need to really get a lot better at this. So I hired a voiceover coach, and I started working on voiceover. And I put together a reel, and then I started doing, like, the dirty side of acting is that there's a lot of these pay for play places where you pay money and you get in front of a casting director, or you pay money and you get in front of a voiceover agent, you audition for them, and you hope that maybe they want to work with you. And 99% of the time, they don't give a shit. They're just there to collect their check. And that's the thing that sucks about acting when you don't know people, is that you have a lot of predatory people out there that will take advantage of you. But weirdly enough, for me, it actually worked out. I was interning at this agency. It was called Abrams Artist Agency. It's a big agency in both LA and New York. And they got to know me and thought I was hilarious. I was interning for the children's department. And then one day, one of the voiceover agents was like, why don't you come in and read the script? And of course, I had been working on voiceover in the side, like trying to get better at it. And so I came in, I read a script. It was for, I think it was either a Ford voiceover for like a commercial for Ford or Toyota, one of the two, some car script. And I was like, Ford, go places, whatever the hell it was. Did the whole voiceover thing. They're like, dude, you're good. Like, you're good at this. I'm like, oh yeah, man, thanks. Like, you think so? And, and she's like, yeah, no, you're good. Like, we should start sending you out. And so they started sending me out. And then while this was happening, I auditioned for a bunch of other voiceover agents, and I had met voiceover casting directors. And one of the things that's been like my calling card is I'm a very personable person. Like, I try to get to know people. I love making people laugh. And so I try to do that anytime I go into a casting director's office and try to get to know them better. And basically what ended up happening was I auditioned for another voiceover agent. He really loved my voiceover stuff, loved my reel. He started sending me out on auditions. Then the casting director that I was, getting to become friends with was like, dude, let me set you up with another agency. And then it became like this huge bidding war between 3 agencies of like where I was going to get signed. And I ended up signing with Abrams. So it was crazy how it started, but that was how I got my start in acting. And dude, even when you get signed by an agent, it's still so hard, right? And this was only for commercial, like on-camera commercials, so they call it, in voiceover work. So I'd go in for commercial auditions and I'd go in for voiceover work, but it wasn't for TV shows. It was a whole nother process, and it took me 8 years of people telling me like, oh, dude, you're funny like Will Ferrell, or holy shit, you remind me so much of Chris Pratt. Like, dude, you're so fucking funny. You're so talented. I'd be like, oh man, thank you so much. Like, and I'd say, hey, do you want to work with me? Like, no, we're good, bro. We're good. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, okay, so you think I'm hilarious. You think I'm talented. You think I'm all these things, but you don't want to work with me?
Yeah.
And that is the acting industry in a nutshell. You can be the best fucking actor alive, and I'm not, but you could be. And people will be like, wow, man, you're super good, but best of luck to you.
Yeah.
It's so fucking weird. But so that was how I got my actual start, like getting jobs. And it took a long time, but I eventually got a legit agent, got a manager, started booking television shows, started actually making money acting, which was really cool. And then now I'm in this place where I got to switch all my rep around and try to figure out what the hell I'm going to do, because it's still pandemic time and it's still really hard to find an agent, and it's still intensely about networking, but I'm in an arena where I can't network the way that I used to. Like, what I wanted to do when I came out to LA was go do more improv. So I did improv comedy in New York. I go do improv shows, and I did a little bit of stand up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But so that was my whole plan when I came out to LA. I was like, all right, I'm going to do the Groundlings, which is where a bunch of famous improv artists went, like Will Ferrell, Molly Shannon, people like that. So I'm going to do the groundlings. I'm going to go do more stand up. And then I'm going to use that to get into comedy. And that all got canceled because of the pandemic. All of those plans that I laid out, all completely canceled. But that's where Twitch kind of, stepped in, because Twitch to me.
Where'd you learn about Twitch?
I mean, I've watched Twitch since probably 2017. I used to watch, PUBG, like pro PUBG players to get better. So I'd watch people like Mr. Grims or Shroud or TSM Vis, or people that are close to being pros, you know what I mean? Like really, really good at the game.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to do Twitch even back then. And people always told me like, you'd be great at this. You should look into it. But it was very daunting to not even to like be on stream and to be performing and talking to people. Yeah. I love that. But just to figure out how to set it up. You know what I mean? Like that was the part that was daunting to me. It wasn't even actually performing or being on Twitch. It was, how the fuck do I set this up? Like, how do I get a camera and a mic and all of this shit and stuff? And that was the part of it that really kept me from doing it for the longest time until the pandemic happened.
Dang. Yeah, it definitely is there's a lot of technological things that go on to just starting up a Twitch channel when you want it to like look halfway decent and professional. And the nice thing is a lot of it is set it and forget it, but like it's that getting going that's just like, dang, like buying PC parts, buying camera stuff, wires, everything, like that stuff can get like super, super confusing when you're trying to start off.
Dude, it's expensive and it's confusing. Like I've spent easily on my Twitch channel probably $20,000 now. Not even joking. Between computers and cameras and monitors and costumes and all the other shit that I've done, I would say 20,000 for sure, minimum.
Wow, that is definitely
a lot of money.
No, that's definitely quite the investment.
Yeah, I've always been someone where if I'm really into something, I'm going to go full in on it. You know what I mean? I don't half-ass it. I go full in. And I think, like when you start off like Twitch streaming, you're streaming to no one. So when I started, I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
Dude, I've got no one is watching me. No one is here to talk to me. What the hell am I doing? I really thought this one through,
Yeah. No, the start is always an interesting place, looking back on that.
For sure. Always. That's always the part where, I try to always remember that too when I do stream, because some nights on Twitch, you'll have a good night. Some nights you'll have tons of viewers and lots of subs and you're like, holy shit, it's popping off. Shit's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then other nights it's really slow. No one's really talking. You have way less viewers than normal. And it's easy, I think, with Twitch, just like acting actually, to get down on yourself and be like, well, is it me? Did I do something wrong? Are people not interested in being here anymore? And so I just try to remember, like, whether it's 10 people or 50 or whatever the fuck it is, like, I'm just lucky that anyone wants to show up,
Yeah.
It's like I streamed to nobody. It took me almost 3 months, like a month and a half, 2 months, I think, to reach Twitch affiliate. And the reason I got there was because the guys I was playing COD with at the time literally sat in my channel for me for a month solid to get my average to 3.
Wow.
Like it was brutal. I could not get to Twitch affiliate for the life of me. It was so hard.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us start there with just having the lurking friends and whatnot, and eventually somehow, build off of that. But no, you're definitely right. It's definitely a blessing that anyone would choose that on whatever night it is, that out of everything they could be doing, they could be out with friends, they could be eating food, like out at restaurants, they could be doing whatever.
Watching a movie,
this is what they decide. Yeah, TV show, Netflix, whatever. Surfing the entire web, doing or whatever they want, and they decide that this is where they want to be on that night. They want to be hanging out with you, experiencing the energy that you bring. Because like you said, it's about entertaining people. It's not about just sitting here gaming in front of people and hoping that people show up. It's about like making people's nights better, That's a huge part of it.
I think that's been the thing that's really kind of blown me away, is that I like to say to my stream that I feel like I have in many ways a purpose. Like the biggest thing I always wanted with acting, like, part of being an actor, you do it for yourself, right? You do it for the attention, for the quote unquote think money and fame, even though that's realistically something that almost no one achieves doing it. But one of the things that I've always talked about in my life is I would love the ability to give somebody a story. And by that, I mean, like, you show up and, you're a Twitch star or you're an actor that people know, and you buy a whole round of beers for a bar, or you see somebody at a dinner and you go over and you pay the bill for them. Like little acts of kindness that, that would mean something coming from anyone. but especially when they come from someone who is quote unquote known, have the ability to give somebody a positive story for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? Because I'll give you an example. My first acting job, my first TV job that I did, like real TV, not a commercial, was Law and Order SVU. And I'll never forget it. So I'm more of a comedic actor, but because I lived in New York, most of the stuff I've done is dramatic work. And I had to do a death scene with Ice-T where I've been shot in the chest and I'm bleeding out of my chest, and it's this really intense scene. I'm talking about like, I'm dying and this guy killed me. Don't tell my mom, blah blah blah, because I picked up a prostitute earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
Great stuff. But so we had to do this rehearsal in front of 50 to 100 people that are watching. They've booked out an entire motel in like the Bronx, I guess, or something in New York. And I remember doing this rehearsal. The camera's on me for the rehearsal. Ice-T's is kind of going through the motions. When you're a day player is what it's called. You have to give everything you got on a rehearsal. Like you need to give it as if you're really doing the scene, right? And obviously I was already covered in blood. I was sitting in the bathroom. So I'm ready to do the scene, but we're just doing one last rehearsal before we shoot it for real. And we're doing this rehearsal. And I do the lines, and then we finish the scene, and Ice-T's looking at me with his dead eyes, just looking at me, and I'm like, okay, all right, what do you want, man? Like, we're done with the scene. And he stands up, he turns around, and he goes to this massive crew. He goes, "This motherfucker knows how to act," and literally just walked away. Right?
That's awesome.
And he gave me a story, right? And now for the rest of my life, no matter where my acting career ends up, I get to look back on that moment and be like, dude, Ice-T was so fucking cool. He didn't have to say that to me. He didn't have to be kind to me like that. He didn't have to. And honestly, when you're working with celebrities, most of the time, like they're like pleasant, like, hi, how are you? But they're not going to fucking make that kind of effort.
Right.
But that for me is the story that I carry with me for the rest of my life. And honestly, if I ever become very successful as a Twitch streamer or as an actor or whatever, that's my hope, is that I have the ability to turn around and do that for someone else. Because that's the beauty of this kind of stuff when you're in a creative field. Like, yes, you have acclaim. Yes, you're successful monetarily if you ever get to that level. Yes, all of those things are wonderful. But eventually that shit gets old. And really the difference between someone that is happy and fulfilled, in my opinion, is you're able to turn around and give back to the people that got to you where you are, as well as people you've never even met.
Yeah.
And change their entire day. Someone could be having a shitty day. And I try to do this even now. Whenever I go into like a Starbucks or I go to a Chipotle, I will always talk with the people that are serving me or the people that are waiting on me, and I'll make jokes. And I just try to put a smile on someone else's face, because honestly, for two reasons. One, I like to impact other people like that. And then the selfish aspect is it makes me happy, right? So I guess that answers your question. But there you go. That's my thought process on what I want my career to look like. Yeah.
No, I mean, that's definitely a lot. I have people saying that they feel very inspired right now by what you're talking about, and just the stuff that's coming straight out of your heart with, your experience on Twitch, what your goals are with Twitch, which is cool. A lot of people don't necessarily have that heart intent with it. I think a lot of people will tell you, oh, I want to build a community, whatever. And like in the back end, it's like, I want to get views and I want to get money. And the fact that you're in this for the people and you're not in it for just trying to make money, just trying to become popular, famous, get approval, whatever, like that's huge. That's actually huge. And that shows a lot more.
It's money is great. You need money to survive. You need money to pay bills. You need that to be able to do this essentially, really realistically long term, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's not going to be, in my opinion, what actually fulfills you while you do this. It's actually kind of one of the things I tell people when they ask about Twitch streaming is like, dude, if you're in this for money, it's the same thing with acting. Do something else, man. Like there's so many better ways to make a shit ton of money. Go do finance, go back to college, get a business degree, do anything else. Because frankly, if you're in this or other creative fields solely for money, you are going to be fucking miserable.
Yeah, that's a huge fact.
You're going to be miserable, man. I don't care. You know what the way it works usually is? People get their big break, right? If they're in it for money, it happens. They get their big break. They have a shit ton of money. They're happy for about 9 months to a year. Then they end up fucking upset and angry, and they can't figure out why. And the reason for that is because they were only in it for money. And once you have that, what the fuck is your purpose? Okay, you have a bunch of money. Well, now what else? You're not in it for anything else. So now you feel unfulfilled, right?
Yeah.
You don't have a purpose anymore. But if you are in this or any other creative field, right, because you genuinely want to impact people, if that's actually one of the things that matters to you, you'll never feel as if you're not having an actual, growth. Like, you're continually going to be growing. You're going to be helping people. You're going to be changing people's lives. You will never get to a place where you were stagnant, because there is always someone else to help, always someone else to impact, always someone that you can make a difference with. And that's the biggest difference between money, because like, people are like, oh, I need more money. I need more money. Then you end up being like some kind of greedy piece of shit with millions and millions and millions of dollars, and you're obsessed and you're a tightwad. Fuck that, man. Like, yeah, money's important, of course. We all love when we get gifted a sub, and anyone that says otherwise is a liar. But if that's the only reason you do this, you're going to hate streaming for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely can agree with you on that one. That's it's a lot to take in, because it's so truthful. It's like the heart of it for someone that is living in the heart of it.
Well, I mean, I think, life is, like I said earlier, life is tough, man. I've been kicked in the dick so many times in my life. Like, I lost my mother to cancer when I was young.
Yeah.
I left my house to live with different families my last 2 years of high school. I've had 8 surgeries. I'm in a pile of debt. Like, I live in pain every moment of every day. No bullshit. Like, physical pain, I can't fix it. I've tried everything. And the reality is that, like, that sometimes that happens in life. Sometimes you're going to get the shit kicked out of you. Sometimes multiple times you're just going to get the shit kicked out of you over and over again. But if you really focus on building relationships and trying to help other people in whatever way you can, it's going to make those shitty things that happen to you that much easier to handle. That's kind of my philosophy. Like, you can't choose the shit that happens to you in life, but you can choose the way you respond, right? And I always try to respond with, like, okay, this shitty thing happened. I'll be mad about it for a little bit. I'll be upset, but I'm going to try to turn it around and make it something positive and impact my life in a positive way as much as possible.
Yeah, no, that's huge. Just having a good perspective in life and learning how to process through those bad things and not letting them dictate that your life is not livable, or that your life is not good still.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Life is crazy, dude. I'm just happy to be alive. And that's the other thing too. I just, no matter how shitty it gets, I'm still alive. And I'm so thankful for that. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, no, that's definitely awesome. Well, I think that wraps up kind of our interview and kind of an in-depth look as to your life as a streamer.
There you go. You got all the good there, Panda.
We did.
You got the deep talk.
I know. No, I'm thankful for it, man. I appreciate you opening up.
He went deep.
Thanks for asking
the questions, man. Oh yeah.
Okay, so what are socials that you would like to plug for yourself? Feel free to give yourself just like shout out, whatever you want. Socials that people can come check you out on.
I would say, like, just Twitch and TikTok at the moment. There's a YouTube channel, but I haven't posted much to it. I have an Instagram too, where you get to see, because I do a lot of costumes, I think so every Friday night I do like my costume night where I dress up as stuff. So you can see pictures of that on Instagram. But I'd say just TikTok is the big one, and then Twitch.